Hello! 'Tis the season to get spooked, which is why I decided to make the most epic Halloween village possible. Will you trick-or-treat at the candy shop, dine with the undead at the tavern, or swap brews with the local witch? Or are you ready to tackle the haunted mansion and discover all 3 secret rooms while braving the 6 deadly booby traps? It's time for a ghastly adventure. First, we need to plan out our local haunts. For the village, we'll need a candy shop, spellbook shop, apothecary, silversmith, and a tavern. There will also be an old ruined church with a graveyard and a witch's hut in the woods. Tackling the mansion is an adventure all on its own. Floor 1 will have an entrance hall, dining room, kitchen, wine cellar, billiards room, and ballroom. Floor 2 has the library, bedrooms, and study. Floor 3 is the attic, which houses a mad scientist's laboratory, as well as the usual long-forgotten and accursed attic-y clutter. There will also be an enchanting tower, as well as 3 secret rooms and 6 booby traps to keep you on your toes. Why start with the tricks when you can have a treat? The candy shop is the perfect place to take care of that sweet tooth. All the village buildings are going to be in a Gothic brownstone style, so the typical high roofs and pointy towers, but with a warmer color tone. Everything is going to be explorable with full interiors. After all, it's no fun getting a candy that's only the wrapper. Speaking of, we'll need a sign to show off exactly what this store's selling. For the interior, it was a challenge coming up with designs for the sweets, since Minecraft doesn't exactly have candy blocks. But with a little creativity, we managed to make a cozy store full of sugary confections. Whether you're looking for chocolate, honeycomb, rock candy, or one of the many other brightly colored sweets, you won't be disappointed.
Hello? Is anyone there? Hello? What is this place?
Now it's time for the spellbook shop. I want most of the village buildings to be very asymmetrical, full of outcroppings, dormer windows, and towers. I also included a display window to show off the latest titles in magic and mayhem, similar to the one over on the candy shop. A bookish sign completes the exterior. Inside, the walls are as red as the light of a blood moon. We'll need plenty of bookcases and a front counter for purchasing the books. A table for studying is set up by the roaring fire, and above a loft provides a secluded place to read. Next up is the apothecary, which is essentially a shop selling potions and tinctures, and all the ingredients to make them. I had a bit of trouble designing this sign, going through quite a few versions before settling on this one. For the interior, I wanted this building to have an especially witchy vibe, so I went for these dark blue colors on the walls. A cauldron bubbles over the fireplace, next to a table set up to brew all manner of elixirs. A garden bed at the window grows strange and mysterious plants for these potions. Shelves are stacked high with mystical artifacts and curios. In the attic above, the shopkeeper can provide tarot card readings, tell fortunes, and even contact the dead. For the right price.
There's a fire going. The lights are on. Why is no one here?
It's time to make the silversmith. When you live in a haunted village, silver bullets to fend off werewolves and silver crosses to ward off vampires are just as essential as your groceries. Unlike the other shops, this one is entirely outside of the building. There's a smelter heating a cauldron of molten metal, and a workbench with sheets of silver and jewels. The sign hanging from the shop shows plainly that these wares offer protection from the creatures of the night. Indoors is the residence of the master smith. A fireplace brings heat and light to the humble abode. The kitchen table holds bushels of wheat, ready to be baked into cakes and breads. Upstairs, a comfy bed is set in the loft. It's the perfect place to rest after a hard day's work.
Is anyone there? Please, I'm lost.
The tavern is the biggest building in the village. It is also by far the most symmetrical, bringing some order to the chaos of the others. Known as the Quiet Bones Tavern, it is the best place for a weary traveler to stop on a cold, lonely night. Inside, the bar is the first thing to greet any guests. The drinks flow freely from one of the many casks lying around. Tables and chairs crowd the space, and the tavern's crest can be seen on the tapestries. Below lies the kitchen. A fireplace and cast iron stove cook any grisly delights that are ordered. Even more casks can be found down here, ready for the Hallows' Eve feast. The upper floors hold a couple of bedrooms. Here, tired guests can rest. Just watch out for things that go bump in the night.
Right, because if there's no one in the regular buildings, of course there will be someone in the creepy ruined church. This is stupid.
Outside the village center lies the ruins of an old church, slowly rotting away. The steeple marks a sharp silhouette, even as it threatens to come crashing down. Why was it abandoned? If only these crumbling walls could talk. Next to the church is the graveyard. Tombstones and a crypt are surrounded by the bars of a wrought iron fence. Surely here the dead will stay at rest.
What is this? What's happening?
At the edge of the forest is the witch's hut. Peaked roofs curl like a witch's hat. A garden in the back grows the herbs needed for her brews, while a cauldron boils ominously over a fire pit. Inside is the heart of her lair. The fireplace crackles with its blue flames. A spellbook lies open on a lectern, ready for any rituals. However, witches need their comforts too, so a bed rests against this wall. A dining table sits next to the kitchen, all kinds of strange ingredients stored inside.
I have to get out of here. I have to find help.
With all the buildings done, I went around the village to put in the finishing touches, adding market stalls, making paths, a pumpkin patch, and other decorations. I created some autumn tree designs and some pine trees, then placed them around. Now this sleepy little town truly feels alive. It's time for the crowning jewel of this project, the Haunted Mansion. As mentioned before, this place is going to be rigged with booby traps and secret rooms. But first, we need a way to actually get there. A river separates the village and the bluff that the mansion will go on, so an old Gothic bridge is just the thing to connect the two. With that out of the way, the fun can really begin. I decided to use Nevermore Academy from Wednesday as a reference for our mansion. The building itself will have a completely different layout, but a similar architectural style to give it those perfectly spooky vibes. We'll of course need imposing towers and some spiky roof trim to bring it all together. Finally, I added climbing ivy growing up the walls. But a scary building standing in the middle of an empty field isn't that intimidating, so I whipped up a couple of dead trees and pasted those around, along with the pine trees we made earlier. Now we need to add the haunt to this house. I started off with a shadowy entrance hall. A dark staircase rises to the floor above. A fireplace crackles against the back wall, casting light on the old, antique furniture. Hopefully there's nothing sinister waiting to greet you here. Next up is the billiards room, which is a fancy word for a room with a pool table. Basically, it's the ye olde arcade. We of course have the classic pool table, with a bar over here and some extra seating in this alcove. A moose head hangs above the bar, and a dartboard occupies this wall. It's the perfect spot to hang out with the resident spooks. No haunted mansion would be complete without a place to hold ghoulish feasts. The dining room is well equipped for any dinner party, complete with a grinning skull to watch over the festivities below. A pot of suspicious stew bubbles quietly to the side, ready to be served to unwary guests.
Ow.
The kitchen is where all the creepy crawlies get turned into delicacies. An oven in the corner bakes Halloween treats, while the stove roasts dinner. The water basin is ready to wash all the silver and fine china, and tables are laid out with food waiting to be prepared. Below lies the wine cellar. Only the finest vintages are stored here. Curiously, though, these casks are only labeled with people's names. How odd. On the other side of the house resides the ballroom. A crystal chandelier hangs over the dance floor. Tables and chairs provide a place for the guests to rest, and a grand piano stands ready with a haunting melody.
There's no one here. It's playing, but there's no one here.
Now to tackle the second floor. First up is the study, tucked away at the back. It's the perfect place for planning out evil schemes in private. Of course, the master of the house needs a place to get some shut-eye. The master bedroom has a sinister red color palette. The crackling fire casts eerie shadows against the four-poster bed. Ghostly flowers bloom in their pots. There's no better spot to settle in for an eternal rest. Should the occasional dinner guest plan to spend the night, they'll be perfectly comfortable here as well, and they can definitely expect to wake up in the morning.
Why is there no one here?
The library holds all manner of cursed tomes and forbidden knowledge. Bookcases line the walls. Some comfy, overstuffed couches and chairs provide an excellent spot to read. A study table offers ample opportunity to research the dark arts. But perhaps not everything in this room is as it seems. The attic offers further thrills. Here are mad scientists to set up their laboratory. Strange concoctions bubble and brew. Mechanical parts whir on a table, their components butchered and scrambled back together. A saw blade is surrounded by some suspicious red stains, and creepier still are the test subjects kept locked away in their cages.
What is that? What is that? After the last failure, I was almost ready to give up. Yet still, I felt I was on the brink of solving that age-long problem all humans have dreamt of. Conquering death. This latest experiment.
The remaining space contains the usual cursed artifacts and haunted heirlooms you expect in any typical attic. Moldy books, torn furniture, a dragon skull, and a haunted piano just add to the standard clutter.
What's that? Who's there? Please, I need help.
We can't call it quits on this mansion without adding a spooky tower. A rickety staircase winds up 3 floors to the witch's overlook. What strange rituals and sinister brews must be made here?
No.
Will you be brave enough to tackle the Dreadwood Manor and uncover its secrets? Or would you rather just gorge on sweets at the candy shop? Get this build on my Patreon to go on your own Halloween adventure. And don't forget to subscribe, or you'll be sorry.